are now locked in and listening to The Issue.
This guy is a franchise quarterback, and no, I don't want to hear any pushback on that.
It feels like a top 10 roster to me. It feels like it can win a championship.
This is The Issue.
Yo, what's up? We are back. It is The Issue. It's Thursday, December 15th, and we have another episode of The Issue here for you today. A kind of a rebound episode.
It's a big week this week. There's 3 Saturday games this week too.
Yeah, it is a huge week.
No Octobox though. That's unfortunate.
No,
That's okay.
I know.
Okay.
I'm gonna miss it. There have been now 2 Sundays that the Octobox has not been active on Red Zone. Each one has depressed me more and more. This one will do the same. But nevertheless, great football coming up and end of the season football. So things are starting to get, a little more chippy, some more emotion, and it is just making for a better product. Better shows will follow from that. But today we have Tim's rant to start off. We have kind of talking Detroit and the Lions a little bit. They show out and impress. They beat the Vikings. Huge, right?
34-23, like handled by 11.
Yeah.
That's big boy football right there.
Yeah. We'll finish out the first segment with hits and misses like normal. And then in the second segment, we want to get you guys another top 10 NFL teams. I feel like it's that point in the season where they have to kind of start coming a little more regularly.
Almost every week, I would say.
Yeah, because there's just a lot of movement between the top 10 week to week now. And then we're going to finish off the second segment with kind of just like a general news over the NFL, some college football, whatever we feel is the big stories.
Yeah.
And then we will go into week 15 predictions in the third segment, finish it out with another rant to end the show. But let's start with Detroit. They had kind of a crazy win this week. It was awesome to watch.
That was... Would I say their most impressive win? I would say it was a top 3 win for them on the season, probably
against a big division rival.
Right. And I remember saying during our predictions that the Lions would finish really close, 8-9, 9-8, somewhere around there. Right, they're going to be super competitive. They're going to play really hard for Dan Campbell, probably score some points. Right, you could see the offensive piece they had going into the season. Swift at that point, Hawkinson was still there, but even without him, they have really nice tight end pieces, good wideouts, all that. And I like Jared Goff better than most. Not love. I like him. I'm still realistic, right? He can't really play on the road, can't really play outside very well. But let's be real, he's a top 20 NFL quarterback. I think he's probably way closer to 20, if not right at 20. But that's 100% where they are right now. Competitive, fun. Jared Goff is exactly what we think he is, somewhere in the top 15 to 20 NFL quarterbacks. Here's the interesting thing about that team, though, right? Like I said, the concern offensively has been Jared Goff, right? You're going into the season, you're not worried about Amon-Ra St. Brown, you're not worried about your backfield. You have 2 good backs, your offensive line's improving. I like Goff. I do. But their line's above average, their weapons are really good, B+, A-, 2 good backs, nice tight end, even after they traded Hawkinson, right? The concern's always been Goff. He's actually he's 6th best in football right now with only 7 picks. Not bad at all. So he's taking care of the ball. He's moving the sticks. They're 3rd in yards per drive, which means they're also 6th in scoring percentage, a.k.a. the percentage of their drives that convert to them scoring. 6th. That's a good clip, right? So they're moving the ball, and they're getting in the end zone. But the problem is that they also happen to be the single worst defense in football. I think the single worst defense in football. They're 17th in picks. They're dead last in yards per drive. They're 3rd worst in score percentage. They're also worst in your average points per drive. So what does that mean? Not only are they giving up points, they're giving up touchdowns. Like a lot. On average more than anyone else, actually. They're 32nd in the league. Right, so there's that mentality you always hear, bend, don't break, right? Whenever they get to you about your 40-yard line, that you got to bend, hold them to a field goal, live the fight another day. I think the Steelers historically have been pretty decent at this. I mean, they lose, 16 to 14 or whatever, the field goals. No, there's no bend. There's no bend with Detroit. It's just break. And so I think the Lions, they're super entertaining. I don't think they would be any fun to play if you're the Vikings. Right? Like, I think the Vikings most likely keep that 2 seed, and I don't think the Lions are going to get above the 7 seed. Like, I don't. But so that would probably be the matchup. I don't think they would be any fun for Minnesota, who also has some serious problems in their secondary. But I'm also realistic with Detroit. Right? And I hope their fans can respect this because I'm actually rooting for them, finally. They've been so awful for so long that they deserve this. Right? I don't have any problem with Lions fans. I think they finally deserve a little bit of entertainment, which they're finally getting because the offense is exhilarating, and to be actually competitive. And I think that they're getting that as well. They're probably going to sneak into the playoffs. But let's take a deep breath with them. Let's not set our hopes too high. Because at the end of the day, like I said, I like Jared Goff. Let's remember this before I say this. I like Jared Goff. But at home, he's 270 yards per game, 20 touchdowns, 3 picks, 106 QBR. That's like an all-pro. That'd be second in the league right now in QBR to Jalen Hurts, who's probably going to be the MVP. That's an all-pro stat line. On the road, he's 227 yards per game, 4 picks, only 2 touchdowns, and an 81 pass rating. Right, so I like Detroit, but I'm also realistic with them. Can they maybe go to Minnesota in the playoffs and win? Maybe. I don't feel great about it. Remember when they went to Minnesota last time and they got this really nice lead? And then in complete Detroit fashion, lost it. And lost by 4 to, at the time, a pretty beat-up team in Minnesota. So I am rooting for Detroit. I think they're super entertaining. I think Jared Goff is a much better quarterback than a lot of people give him credit for. But you have to be realistic with this. It comes in steps. Right? We said this with Philly, how it comes in steps, right? Get to the playoffs last year, get waxed by Tom. This is probably the year that they win a playoff game, if not 2. I don't know, people are giving, I want to say Donovan McNabb, flack for saying that they're probably another year away from the Super Bowl, and I agree. It's very, very rare that you see a team not hit these milestones on their way up, right? And the teams that kind of bypass these milestones, like I'll even give Cincinnati credit. They were awful, and then Burrow came in. They were really, really good with Burrow. Then he gets hurt. But you kind of still see the identity of the team, even though he's hurt. They're still scrappy, and they're learning from their losses, right? And then he comes in, and boom, Super Bowl, right? Still a big jump. But you don't see, Josh Allen in Buffalo, for example, right? Awful, getting better, finally competitive, but still can't win a playoff game. Finally goes out, wins a playoff game, right? And now what are they? I don't know, probably third in voting right now, or in odds to win the Super Bowl. So it comes in steps. Detroit, you'll probably sneak in. My guess, it'd be a coin flip game in Minnesota. I'd probably lean with Minnesota, but I don't feel good about it. I mean, given that Kirk can't play in primetime, depending on when that game is, I could go either way. But they wouldn't get past that, right? That'd be kind of the ceiling, right? Because then from there, you're the 7 seed that moved on, so then you would get, I want to say you get the 1, so you get Philly, and they're not in a position to go beat Philly on the road, right? So love Detroit, love what they're doing. I think Dan Campbell's underrated. I think Jared Goff's underrated. I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. But deep breath, competitive, fun, love what they're doing. Not necessarily a team that I'm taking seriously going deep into the playoffs and making any massive noise. Could they sneak in and give Minnesota all they can handle? Absolutely. Is that about the cap on their season? Absolutely. And that's fine. That's fine for a Detroit team. They started off 1-6. If you told them that when they were 1-6, you said, hey, you're going to get to the playoffs, you're going to give Minnesota all you can handle, and then you're going to get waxed in Philadelphia next week. Would they sign up for it? I think they would. Yeah. I think they'd sign up for it tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a brand of football that Detroit should just be thrilled about getting to this level right now.
Absolutely.
Don't ask for the whole pie. Take it one slice at a time, right? And especially after being so bad for so long. It's not going to go from that to a Super Bowl. There's going to be years of building. There's going to be... I think Dan Campbell's a great coach. And what he's been able to do all season, I think, puts him in contention for at least top 5 coaches this season. To lead a Detroit Lions team to a playoff, if they can sneak into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Then win a playoff game, that would be crazy for them.
I wouldn't. Yeah, he'd be in contention for Coach of the Year, probably.
I would say.
I mean, that's what Stefanski did with Cleveland.
Yeah.
Ended up winning, 10 or 11 games and went and beat Pittsburgh in the first round?
Yeah.
Coach of the Year. I mean, I don't think it's crazy.
Either way, they're moving in the right direction in Detroit.
They are moving in the right direction. I'll tell you what was interesting. That Sunday night football game was unbelievable.
It was.
Unbelievable. That was a masterclass from Herbert. So let's start there with hit number 1 of our hits and misses here on going into week 15 of the NFL season. I feel like we've said it 1,000 times at this point. I don't mind Tua. I think he's fine. I could very well see him having a similar career trajectory to a Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, consistently average, a really, really okay 15 to 20 quarterback. But you look at him against Herbert, it's not even close. No, it's not even close.
Herbert looks so much more just NFL ready and NFL capable. Do you know what I mean?
Just much more talented.
And the way he moves, I think, is a lot more strategic than the way that Tua moves. I think that you can rely on Justin Herbert more than you can rely on Tua, right? I feel like with Tua, you have to have a really good run game. You have to be able to take pressure off of him. You have to have a good defense. With J. Herb, we've seen him do it now with a roster that is injury riddled, no receivers, no weapons to throw to, no sort of a defense over the top. So, I mean, the fact that you can lean on J. Herb like that says a lot more to me than the fact of Tua having to have a lot of things go his way.
I feel like they play call to help Tua make Tua look good.
Yes.
They don't do that in LA. Herbert makes the play call look good.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter who's playing, doesn't matter who's throwing to, doesn't matter if the protection breaks down. He makes the play work. The play makes Tua work.
Yes.
That's the difference. It's kind of back to our whole tractor trailer debate, are you pulling the truck or are you getting pulled by the truck?
Right.
So, all right, miss number 1. I got dogged this week on bets.
Oh man,
0-5.
I was
getting absolutely clowned on TikTok. I mean, it's fine. It happens.
About
Good
1,000 comments to be
just bad. I would say 800 of them were just fade God, fade this man. I get it. All right, it's a bad week. First losing week in the last 6. All right, I don't want to hear it. Good news is though, doubled down on New England, -2 last night, so we're chilling. We recouped a little bit, but still tough weekend for me.
At least we got that clip up of
me picking New England.
Yeah, kind of backing you up a little bit. That
extinguished some of the fire.
Yeah.
All right, hit number 2. We've expressed our concern and our questions about Cliff Kingsbury, and he didn't win in college with Patrick Mahomes. He hasn't won in the NFL with Kyler Murray, which we all obviously know what Mahomes is. Kyler's a Heisman Trophy winner. Look, maybe he's more suited for a coordinator because I think he's pretty creative. I think he's a decent offensive mind. I just don't think he's built to be a head coach. Their defense is always consistently not very good. Their special teams isn't very good. The protection is always lacking. And I always feel like it's when they succeed, it's Kyler kind of put on a cape. I don't ever feel, they won because of the game plan or because of the plays.
Right.
And now with Kyler hurt, they're on a losing streak. They're 4-9. Do you see them winning maybe 1 or 2 more games the rest of the way? I mean, they at least have to have a conversation in the offseason. Behind closed doors, the executives are having a conversation about Cliff Kingsbury. They have to be.
You have to. And these injuries with Kyler are starting to be a little bit concerning, right? He is super undersized.
No doubt about it.
And to play in the NFL and the longevity of a career and what that can look like, it doesn't look good when you're that small against defensive players that are anywhere from 6'4" to 6'8" and around 250 pounds, just shredded pure muscle. So
and we said this during his whole contract negotiation. I said negotiation. A lot of people are just he's super talented, pay him. And I said, look, I agree, I would pay him, but it's not as easy as you just say, look at him and go, he's talented, pay him. It's not that simple.
There has to be a future evaluation that goes on.
Yeah, it's not that simple. And now you're kind of seeing the repercussions of just thinking, talented, let's just give him the bag. So
yeah.
Miss number 2 here, I said that Mike Vrabel was a top 5 coach, and I think he has his Sundays where he is, but that was not a good weekend for him or his team. But I know they're banged up front, and the secondary's a little iffy right now and stuff, but to only get Derrick Henry to 34 rushing yards, that's tough. I've seen Kyle Shanahan, who, if you want to be considered a top 5 coach, I think Shanahan's in that conversation. Yeah. That's who you're compared to. I mean, I've seen him get third-string running backs, second contracts. Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, Matt Breida, right? Scheme matters in the running game. You can't say that it's all on Derrick Henry.
No.
That he only got 34 yards. I mean, at the end of the day, he still is, 6'3", 250, okay?
Yes.
He didn't shrink before the game.
You're right.
He's still the same running back, and he only got 34 yards, so...
And to the Jags, of all teams.
Who they're okay, but their defense is not fantastic
whatsoever. There's no way that they should be able to stop a all-pro running back
like Derrick Henry.
34
yards.
No, not at all.
So like I said, I think he has Sundays where he's top 5, but that was a tough look. I think he got outcoached, and I think they got outplayed a lot. All right, hit number 3. We've been rather reluctant to put the Giants into the top 10. We always get to about 8, and we're like, oh my God, 9 and 10. Like, who do we put in? It's like Seattle.
They're
I
always
don't know.
in the conversation, kind of.
They're always within like the 8 to 15 conversation.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they're that anymore. It's not the standings, right? I don't care if they're almost in the playoffs or if it ended today, they would be. I don't care if Brian Dable's good and Saquon's good. They're not going to win consistently with Dan Jones at the helm. It's just not going to happen.
I don't see it.
It's not going to happen. They're not a talented enough team. All right, miss number 3. Luke sucks.
Yeah.
Lost predictions once again. I lost him again this week. Now I have clinched said championship. He won last year, so we are 1-1. Rubber match next year. But it does feel good to win. I'll have my speech next segment.
No, you'll have it in the third segment.
Oh, third segment? Okay, yeah, I'll have my speech in the third segment. I'll take my victory lap there, but it does feel good nonetheless, and that's a miss for Luke. Haven't lost this year.
The cards didn't fall our way. I'll kind of give a brief loser speech, I guess.
Yeah, go on, yeah. Because I don't want to be in the same segment as you with the speeches, because I won.
Yeah,
so.
You get your own segment.
You're like a peasant, You do it now, all right?
I don't want to hear. I beat you by just about as much last year, so I don't feel
three
bad.
weeks?
3 weeks, and I think I haven't even looked here. I'll look now.
So now at this point, I have to just try to rub it in.
Yeah. So what? That's 5 and 9. You beat me by 4.
Right now, but at the end of the year, we'll see. We're still going to keep track. Maybe you can at least make it.
I can make it. I can score some garbage time points. Pull a DAC.
Get some momentum going into next year.
Hey, we're gonna try. Rally the troops.
You don't want to lose spirit in the locker room,
No, we have to keep morale high. Get back in the weight room early this year. And start training. Start prep for next year. But that's about all I can say. It's been a gloomy year. I haven't won back-to-back weeks yet. So
that's okay.
We'll see what happens.
Deep breath. You'll be all right. No, that's all we got for hits and misses there. Going into finishing up week 14, going into week 15, a week where we have 3 games on Saturday. Obviously, we will be predicting that in the third segment. Next segment, though, we're going to have our top 10 NFL teams.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Now that we're getting down to it, we're probably going to do that every week, every other week, somewhere around there, just because everything is so crazy right now. It's the NFL in December, going into January here. So, come back next segment. We'll have our top 10 NFL teams. All right, segment 2 on a Thursday, December 15th. We got 1 game tonight, obviously. Then we got 3 games on Saturday.
Yeah.
More football. The happier I am. So, I mean, if you can have NFL on more days than normal, I'm okay with it.
100% fine with it.
Now I have 4 days where I can watch NFL football, and that's the beauty of the NFL. They now own 3 days, and this week they own a 4th. So
yeah, and they own any day they want, whenever they want to schedule a game too. They just know it. People are going to watch. People are going to turn on the TVs. It's the most interesting sport that you can watch.
If there was a Friday night game, you'd watch it. I'd watch it, 100%.
Friday night games would be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
Except that would take away a little bit from high school football, because
you
get the people that aren't as passionate that be like, well, they're playing, and I'll just stay home and watch that.
Right, that's fair. All right, so normally we like to do it every 4 weeks. Towards the end of the year, we start doing it either every week or every other week, just to kind of just because of the fluctuations and how important each game is now going forward and what it tells us about the team. So here's our top 10 teams going into week 15. Number 10, let's go with the Patriots. I'm not sure I love them offensively still. I think Mac Jones has gotten better in the past couple weeks. He's played a lot better. Ramondre Stevenson's banged up, so when he comes back, they'll be able to run the football better as well. But at the end of the day, their special teams is fantastic, and their defense is fantastic.
Yep.
And I think situationally, their offense is getting better, like I said. Mac Jones is playing a lot better. And I just trust Bill Belichick going forward. Their schedule, it's not bad going forward. If
you have to bet on the better coach and the better. I don't even want to say you do have to bet on the better quarterback. Mac Jones scares me a little bit, but the safety net of Bill Belichick, I feel like, is enough.
Right. So, I mean, going forward, you have the Raiders, which their offense is good, but it's Derek Carr. Like, I would take Belichick's defense over Derek Carr.
Yes.
I don't love their matchup against the Bengals, but then you have Tua coming up on January 1st, going 2 Foxborough, that's going to be cold. I'll take the Patriots there. And then you go to Buffalo, that's, probably not a game you win. But there's 2 more wins the rest of the way. You're already, 7-6, so you're looking at like a 9-8.
Right.
Which will probably be good enough to get you into the playoffs. Good defense, good head coach, Patriots at 10. Let's go with the Dolphins at 9. I think they're slightly better.
I agree.
Just because of it's an offensive league and their offense is better. And plus, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here because they've been really, really banged up in some key positions. Wide receivers, they've been banged up. Offensive line has had some injuries. Secondary's had some injuries. So they're going to start getting a lot healthier. Even pass rush. Bradley Chubb's been in and out of the lineup. So whenever they start to get a little more healthy, I can see them ripping off a couple more wins. And I do trust their offense overall. I think, like I said, it's been tough with injuries, but I think overall it's a good offense.
And I think Tua has shown us that he can do enough.
Yeah, absolutely can do enough.
And, he plays mistake-free football for the most part. You don't really see him with any huge turnovers in key moments. So yeah, the Dolphins at 9, a lot of sense.
Let's go with the Chargers at number 8. Quite frankly, we just saw them play, and I think the Chargers look significantly better. And the reasoning is because they have Justin Herbert.
They have the better quarterback.
Now, if Miami's fully healthy, I think it's a different story. I think we'd have a longer discussion about who's better there. But I think when you have Justin Herbert, who's significantly better than Tua, yet you have to be higher on the list.
Yeah.
And also, they're starting to get healthy. Keenan Allen's back and looking really, really good. Mike Williams is back and healthy. Hopefully, he can stay in the lineup. They now have a couple backs emerging. They have Isaiah Spiller is emerging as a really, really nice back behind Eckler. That Kelly from UCLA. So they have a couple nice backs that are emerging, and you're starting to get healthy on the perimeter. And, of course, Justin Herbert. So
big factor there.
Big factor. Number 7, I think the Vikings with a slight edge over the Chargers because of their playmakers. I trust Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook.
Absolutely, yeah.
More than I trust most other weapon rooms. Now, I don't feel great about Kirk Cousins, especially in prime time. But at the end of the day, he's still going to put up his big boy football, right? Pass rating in the mid to high 90s.
Yeah.
He's going to throw for almost 2 touchdowns a game, maybe a pick here and there. But overall, he's a mistake-free quarterback that's going to get the ball to the playmakers when he needs to. I mean, their offense didn't lose that game. Their defense is what's keeping them from being higher on the list. They can't stop a nosebleed on the back end.
Right. And it is so weird to me that that's kind of Kirk Cousins' kryptonite is a primetime game.
It's like
that's
big games.
So strange because
Big
he is
games.
such a good, reliable quarterback 90% of the time.
Right.
And then you flip over and you look at those ones, and especially against bigger opponents where you kind of have to be that guy.
Right.
A lot of times just he's not.
Like when he played the Cowboys, who are at number 6. I think, first of all, their defense is a lot better than anybody that we've talked to or talked about on the list below them.
Yeah.
And I don't love Dak, but I trust him more than Kirk Cousins. I think he's better than Tua, and I think he's better than Mac Jones, right? So I think he's a very competent quarterback with really nice weapons, especially with Michael Gallup getting healthy. Right, you have 2 good backs, 2 good receivers. The offensive line's improving, and the defense that's top 3 probably. It's probably a top 3 defense. I think you're looking
absolutely. Especially up front.
Probably the Niners, the Cowboys, and the Patriots.
Yeah,
those are the 3 best right now, I would say.
I would say so, yeah. And especially, you can't run on this team.
You cannot.
You cannot run against Dallas this year.
Well, they rotate 7 defensive linemen.
And being able to have Micah Parsons is huge.
All right, number 5, let's go with the Niners because I think they're better on defense, and I like their weapons better. McCaffrey, I don't know when Debo is coming back, if he will. Didn't look like a good injury, but even without him, McCaffrey, Ayuk, Kittle. You have probably 2 good backs, 3 good receivers that are competent, an all-time tight end, a really, really nice top 10 offensive line, and Brock Purdy's good enough to distribute the ball to those weapons.
Yeah.
100%. He's accurate enough. He's on time. He's in rhythm. He knows the offense. Did it look any different than a Jimmy G game?
No, it didn't.
Looked no different to me.
He was able to... that's another one of those offenses. We talk about them from time to time where they're not quarterback dependent. You can basically just add and drop any quarterback you want into there.
I think we were talking about that with the Ravens.
Yes.
Yeah, which you saw this weekend. They had a third-string quarterback.
With Huntley and then Lamar and then who was the third
Anthony
guy?
Brown.
That's it.
Anthony Brown.
Yeah.
First NFL action out of
They
Oregon.
all 3 of them look like exact duplicates of each other, how they play the game.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
Obviously, Lamar's better. Obviously, Tyler Huntley's better than Anthony Brown. There's a slight step down.
There's definitely a tier system in that one.
Like Jimmy G is better than Purdy. He's more experienced. He's been around. But it's not a massive
It's not
gap.
night and day.
No,
it's not night and day.
All right, let's go with number 4, the Bills. I think their offense. I don't know if I want to say it's like they have a better. Their high end is a lot better.
Yeah.
Than the Niners, especially offensively. Right. Whenever they get rolling, I mean, look. Josh Allen in the last 2 games against the Patriots last year did not punt. They didn't punt once, right? So it's like
the efficiency of that offense.
Even a really, really good defensive coach and a good defense could not make Josh Allen in that offense punt for 8 quarters.
Crazy.
I mean, and they still have a good defense. When Matt Milano plays, the stud inside linebacker that they have, they get Tre'Davious White back. Jordan Poyer's getting healthy. So I mean, that's a good defense and an even better offense. And then they have Josh Allen, so they're at 4.
Yeah.
Let's go with the Chiefs at 3. Number 1 scoring offense. The nice thing about them that I think elevates them above Buffalo is they can run the football at times when they need to. I would have liked to see them do it a little bit more this weekend once they got to the bigger lead against Denver, but besides the fact that they won. But yeah, they can run the football when they want to. They still have Patrick Mahomes. Their weapons are a lot better than people think. You still have Travis Kelce. I worry about the defense, but whenever they can generate a pass rush, which is about every other game, they'll get a really, really nice pass rush.
Yeah, takes a lot of pressure off.
Absolutely. When they do, that looks like a completely different defense.
It does. The secondary guys don't have to cover nearly as long. It's
right.
It's perfect for them.
Let's go to number 2, the Bengals. I think right now, situationally, they're a little bit better than the Chiefs. Nobody's better on third down in the league than Joe Burrow right now.
And hey, they beat them.
And yeah, of course, they just beat them. And I do think they run the football better. You have 2 backs now that can really grind you down as a defense, right? Mixon's big and physical. P. Ryan's big, physical, can move.
And let's not forget about like the addition to these offense, or just the level of play of the offensive line, I guess.
It's gotten
and
a lot
how much better it has been.
It's gotten a lot better.
If you would have told me that Cincinnati would be able to generate a run game like this at the start of the season,
I'd have told you you're crazy.
You would have been, that would have sounded nuts. But now you're able to see them be a 2-dimensional offense. Joe Burrow has options. It's perfect for Cincinnati right now.
I think that defense is underrated too. They made Deshaun look stupid. Now, granted, I'll give Deshaun a couple more games. He just 2 games into coming back from like 2 years off, so I'll give him the benefit of that. But that's a legit defense. That's a legit. I'm not saying they're top 8, but are they top 12? Probably 11 or 12.
Yeah.
That's good enough when your offense is 1 or 2 in the league.
Right.
Our number 1, though, the Eagles. I think they can win multiple ways, right? We've seen them with Jalen Hurts go out and throw 4 touchdowns. We've seen Miles Sanders go off for 180 yards on the ground, and they only have 150 yards in the air, right? They can win multiple ways. We've seen their defense win. They won in prime time against Kirk Cousins and the Vikings, right?
Yeah.
Their defense had like 3 picks. They won them that game, right? So they can win multiple ways. I think they might be the deepest roster. They have 2 or 3 good backs. They can rotate 6 linemen in there. They have 2 good DBs, 2 good safeties. The linebackers are good. I mean, they have 4 wide receivers that I think could be a top 2 wideout on any other team. I mean, that's ridiculous.
This team, you just don't know how to defend them. You don't know how to prepare to play them at all because you shut one unit of their game down. Sure, shut the run down.
Right.
Dallas.
It doesn't matter.
Dallas can shut the run down. Sure. Jalen can still throw the ball. Jalen's still shifty. He'll get out of the pocket. He'll make things happen. You have a lot of weapons downfield. You have A.J. Brown. So
he leads the league in pass rating. So I mean, like they can go air raid if they want to.
Yeah.
But I think the base of their team is a play action, run first system, and it's really, really nice when you can kind of complement off that with Jalen Hurts, and then they've been able to do that this year. So they're at number 1 on our top 10 NFL teams heading into Week 15. Let's kind of go over those. Number 10, Patriots. 9, Dolphins. 8, Chargers. At number 7, we have the Vikings. 6, the Cowboys. 5, the Niners. 4, the Bills. 3, Chiefs. 2, Bengals. And at number 1, the Eagles.
Yeah. I mean, the crazy part about this list is that it's going to look entirely different in 2 weeks when we do it again.
100%. I would imagine. Here's my prediction. I think the Chiefs will be 1, Bengals 2, Eagles 3, Niners 4, Bills 5.
I could see it.
I think that's how the top 5 is going to shake up. I think the Cowboys are going to drop to 7.
I think the Chargers could come up.
You
could come up for sure.
I think Chargers, if they rip off a win streak, I think they could.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. All right, I guess let's get into some news here. This is our first kind of news segment we've done in a while. But,
about a year, probably.
Yeah, I think we gotta bring it back for the people. So let's get into the news. All right, we'll start with story number 1. Kenny Pickett goes down with a concussion. What was that, like first or second quarter
Yeah.
of the game this past Sunday against the Ravens in their 16-14 loss at home? They then turned to back up Mitch Trubisky. That did not work out well. 3 red zone interceptions from Trubisky. If you're the Steelers going forward, what do? Do you make the switch to Rudolph? Do you stick it out with Trubisky another week? Depending on when Pickett comes back, what is your solution at quarterback?
The first thing, I'm gonna keep Trubisky as a starter, right? You're paying him to be a pretty decently paid backup, and he was the starter for a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, this was a bad outing. Normally, we don't see that performance from him. That has kind of been out of the norm for this season, and not to mention, he's kind of been just really methodical outside of this last week.
Yeah, he hasn't been terrible.
No, he just, we don't get big shots with him, and the offense seems to be a little bit lackluster. I would just start him. Look, if you're the Steelers at this point, you'd have to scrap this season. You're not going to battle to get into the playoffs. I like it. Chalk it as a win. I like what we saw from Kenny Pickett.
Yeah,
this
100%.
year.
Well, he might still come back. It's a concussion, so probably 2 games,
Yes,
game or 2.
Yes, but I would roll with Mitch. Yeah, I wouldn't touch Mason Rudolph. I wouldn't even give him a breath of starting time.
Really?
Yes.
See, I'll play devil's advocate here. What do you think? Start him. Maybe he looks good. Maybe you can get like a 6th or a 7th for him. He looked good this preseason. People were talking about giving up like a 4th round pick for him going into the year.
I mean, if you can,
which I thought was nuts.
If you think that you can
maybe get
something for him,
like a 7th.
Maybe. I mean, I don't even know if it's worth it though, because at this point, just roll with what you have. You have Mitch. He's gonna be your backup. Yeah, he looked bad. Let him look bad. It's Mr. Trubisky. We kind of expected things to go this way at some point.
Yeah.
So I would just ride it out with Mitch and then wait till Kenny comes back and give him the keys.
That's fair. So the struggling Atlanta Falcons, on to story number 2, struggling Atlanta Falcons have benched quarterback Marcus Mariota in favor of Desmond Ridder, the rookie out of Cincinnati. A little bit more dynamic, a little bit, arms a little bit more impressive. Plus, we don't know really what we have in him, so I think it's interesting. What are your thoughts regarding the change at quarterback in Atlanta?
I think if it works, it's the smartest decision they've made, right?
Yeah,
so
they go. You have your quarterback going forward.
Yes, and you're at least going to see what you have with him now, getting into later season football. The intensity's turned up a little bit.
Right.
You're going to be able to tell if he's a guy or not.
Right, 100%.
And
100%.
I think Mariota, we kind of already know what he is, and we know where his ceiling is. Desmond, we haven't looked into him at all yet. So being able to see him going forward is going to be, I think, the best thing for the Atlanta Falcons, not just for like week to week coming up, but just for overall outlook for the organization.
I actually liked him a lot coming out of Cincinnati. I thought that it was a quarterback that the Steelers should have looked at. If they didn't, like my take was we probably should have went lineman or like a supplemental piece around the quarterback position, maybe lineman. Like I liked Linderbaum
Something to help
a
out.
lot. And then maybe go quarterback later. Of course, we all know that we took Kenny Pickett first round instead. But in my mind, I thought we should have went Linderbaum and then a quarterback like Ridder in the second or third round. I think we could have got him probably closer to the 3rd round. I think that would have been an interesting dynamic. So I liked him a lot coming out. I'm excited to watch him.
Yeah, it should be good.
Story number 3 here. The WNBA player Brittany Griner is back from her little extended stay in Russia.
Hiatus.
As she got arrested for smuggling a little dope across the border. Traded her for an arms dealer. So on the bright side, it seems like the Pirates are not the only ones getting fleeced in trades. Them and the U.S. have a lot in common. Look, all I'm saying, probably not a good move. I don't really care to watch the WNBA. Don't really care to discuss it all that much, but it's certainly a noteworthy topic here in the sports world. So what are your thoughts?
I think this might be the first time we've mentioned this league on this show, but a fitting time.
Yeah, probably.
So, look, I don't know. The trade was horrific, and the argument coming from the other side where it's, well, an American's an American. Well, sure, but I mean, she's kind of publicly spoken out about how much she hates the country, and then reluctantly let back in, and seemed like she couldn't wait to get here. So must not hate it as much as she thought she did. But anyway, interesting situation. I don't approve of, maybe not somebody such a high profile as somebody that was plotting and conspiring to kill Americans would be a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's more than a political issue. I think it's more of like a human safety issue.
Yeah,
that was my argument. I'm like,
no matter who makes the call, it's still a horrific call.
Yeah, I don't care who makes the call. It's a bad call, but it is what it is. Story number 4, the Yankees are expected to make a push for Carlos Rodon and Carlos Correa. We'll see. I guarantee they don't land either of them, but who knows? Let me paint you a picture here. The year's 2030, 2035, somewhere around there. The Yankees have a higher payroll than the rest of the league combined. Do they still get bounced in the first round, you think?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Yankees. So.
I mean, the thing is, the home run equation is never going to work. It's never going to be sustainable.
1,000 times.
It's never going to be sustainable. I don't care who you bring in. I don't care how many home runs they hit a year. Like you say, time and time again, home runs do not equal strikeouts.
Or they don't cancel out strikeouts.
Or, yeah, they don't cancel out strikeouts.
Walks.
Getting on base, because striking out is not the equivalent to hitting a home run.
I agree. And my argument has always been, that's great to hit a home run. Go look at how many of their home runs were solo shots. A lot of them, because the people in front of the guy who ends up hitting the home run are striking out as opposed to walking. So say those people, I have no idea how many home runs they hit. I don't even feel like looking it up right now. Make it a nice even number. Let's go with 500. Say they hit 500 home runs a season. I don't know if it's right or not. Say, I would imagine 350 of them were solo shots. So of those 350, imagine if of the people how many times did somebody strike out right before them? I will go with 200. I think these are all reasonable numbers. I'll go with 200. Of those 200, if half of them would have walked, if half of them would have walked, that's 100 home runs that now at least double in value. At bare minimum, double in value.
Yeah. Yes. And the fact that you have no ducks on the pond per se. You're not hitting anybody in.
Not hitting anybody in. One singular RBI. Swing of the bat.
There is situational baseball and being able to play small ball, as people call it, and that is the biggest part of the game inside the game, is knowing how to strategically get guys on and move guys around the diamond, getting them into scoring position, onto second and third base, and being able to get them home. It's a strategic part of the game. The Yankees seem like they don't have any of it. If you can make the ball fly out of the yard, welcome to New York. You're a Yankee.
Yep.
It has not. We have not seen success from it. So
I agree. I don't think it works out. But hey, what do I know? I don't know. I've just been right about them for the last 5 years, so we'll see if that keeps going. That's all we have for the news here, and that's all we have for the second segment. When we come back, we will have our predictions and kind of sprinkled in there also our bets on a budget, hoping to rebound from an awful week. And then we will have, of course, another little rant / discussion there to finish it off. So don't go anywhere.
What's up? We are back. It is the third segment on Thursday, December 15th. Crazy. Flying through the month of December now. Getting into later season football. Feels good. Getting closer to playoffs and looking at how it's all going to shake out and who's going to come out on top, who's going to grab those last couple spots for the wild card, or just, I guess, all the playoff races are kind of tight, pretty much around the league, except for, I guess, 2-3 divisions where it's kind of
I mean, you have your
clear
NFC,
cut.
you have your well, yeah. I mean, here's actually what's funny is there's a tire fire of a race going on in the NFC. Does anybody want it? Doesn't really look like it. I'm not sure. Maybe is Carolina the best team in the division right now?
It looks like you can't even give it out right now.
Is Carolina the best team in that division right now? They might be.
Which is sad to say, because I don't think they are remotely close to even
I don't
being
think
good.
any of the teams I don't think are good. Here's what I will say though. If the Saints are the worst team in the division, could be worse. At least they have a good defense.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be worse.
It could be. But this segment will be good. We will have all of Week 15 predictions and bets along with those predictions.
But first.
Yes, but first.
Please. People, let's act like we have producers. Producers, can we cue the sound?
Yeah.
Cue the sound. Okay.
We got it.
Cue the sound. Thank you. Thank you. I'll tip the hat. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. That's right. I am your 2022-2023 season predictions champion. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my father. He's taught me everything I need to know about football. Actually, that's a lie. I think I know more about him at this point, but he did teach me a lot at the beginning. I'd like to thank my youth football coaches from back in the day when I was in like second and third grade, who were also your coaches. So I don't know what happened. You might not have absorbed enough knowledge there, but it feels good to get a win here. And honestly, the only thing I can say, in full athlete answer here, right? On to next year.
Yeah.
On to next year. We got to look to improve. I think we played well, but I think in spots, obviously, there's always room to improve. So just gonna go hit the film, hit it hard, and look to improve for next year, and maybe go undefeated.
Undefeated. That would be spectacular. You have how many weeks in a row would you have to?
17 weeks.
No.
In a row. It'd be 9 weeks in a row till I clinched.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, that's a tall task. But no, yeah, you got the best of me this year.
It feels good.
On to next year. We are now tied 1-1 in predictions. They are not over yet, though. We have Week 15 of the NFL coming up starting tonight on Thursday. So let's get to predicting them.
All right, let's start with the first one. 49ers at Seahawks tonight. I'm going to go ahead and take the Niners. Now, I did pause for a second because it is in Seattle. Young quarterback that hasn't played much going on the road, right? Remember, he came in at home. He started against Tampa at home, right? So going on the road to Seattle might be a little chilly. I'm not saying it's not normally like warm up there in December or January, right? So it's going to be a tougher game. But at the end of the day, I don't trust Geno Smith under the pressure that the Niners defense can put on a quarterback.
Yeah. Under
that pressure, I don't trust him to deliver. I'll take the Niners by like a field goal.
100% agree. I don't see the Niners losing. They have so much momentum right now, and the way they are able to shut down every single offense they play against, it speaks volumes.
All right, let's go with the Colts at the Vikings. I think the Vikings are a little undervalued here, given that they have lost, I think, 2 of their last 3. But the Colts are a bad football team, point blank. I don't think they can't. First of all, their defense is banged up, so they're not very good right now, which has been the strength of their team previously. Yeah. And I don't know who's going to start a quarterback. Is it Matt Ryan? And if so, how many picks is he going to throw? They haven't been able to run the ball consistently. Their protection's not good. I'm Vikings here all the way.
Yeah, Vikings. Also, not sure why there's not an over-under on interceptions for Matt Ryan. That would be a good line to take. Because if it's anything, it's like 2 or 3, I'm taking the over.
It'd probably be like a half an interception.
But
like realistically. But I mean, like, there's probably a bet like Matt Ryan to throw 2+ interceptions.
I would actually hit that. I would hammer that line.
It's a good thing to look for. I don't know, maybe. Let's go with the Ravens at the Browns here. So we're split on this one. You're going to go ahead and take the Ravens. I'm not sure the health of any of their quarterbacks. So I'm going to take the Browns at home. They're actually favored by 2.5, which is an interesting line. But I think them being at home, Nick Chubb being able to run the football a little bit, and Deshaun at home, maybe he can find a little bit of rhythm. I'll go with the Browns. I don't feel great about it just because it's the Browns. Yeah. But right now, with all the injuries to Baltimore, do the Browns have a better roster?
I think
it's got to be close.
Yes. I'm going to go ahead and take Baltimore. I just think we have said multiple times now. So it's an offense where they are not dependent on their quarterback whatsoever. You can swap guys in and out, and these 3 quarterbacks are almost identical in the way that they play. So I don't think the quarterback position itself hurt their offense as much. Definitely not going to be as efficient as it would be with Lamar. But I think they're going to be able to do enough, and at the end of the day, it's Cleveland. Also, are the Ravens the most unlucky team in the league? They get plagued by injury. It seems like every single year. They've had the roster to win it now for like 3 or 4 years, and they just have not been able to escape injury when it comes to like the last couple weeks.
Here's something that's interesting. Look at their style, though. They're physical, running, run-centric team.
Sure. Look
at San Francisco as well. Physical, run-centric team. Yeah. They're always banged up too. Maybe there's something to like those practices or whatever.
I don't know.
Let's go with the Dolphins at the Bills here. We're both going to take the Bills, but this brings us to our first bet of the week. So the Dolphins are plus 7.5, right? So you're going to get the hook towards Buffalo, which means the Dolphins can only lose by a touchdown. They'd be all right.
Yeah.
So the hook's on our side here. You're getting points on a good team, right? So anytime you get points on a good team, you got to be a little bit happy about that. Plus, they beat Buffalo the first time. Now, I don't feel great it being in Buffalo, but 7.5 points is a lot of points for a divisional game. That's a lot of points.
That's a ton. I see it being a very, very close game.
Plus, scoring right now is down in the NFL, which means points are more valuable. And that's a lot of points. That's a lot of valuable points to be on the table in a divisional matchup.
Yes.
All right, next one here. Falcons at the Saints. We're both going to go ahead and take the Saints. Falcons are starting Desmond Ridder. I think he'll end up being an okay quarterback. I think he's relatively talented. But in his first start on the road,
bet on him, no.
on the road in New Orleans, that's a hornet's nest to go into.
It is.
No part of that. No part of that.
I think he'll be good too. It's just not his time to really step up into the spotlight right now.
Let's go Cowboys at the Jags. We're both going to go ahead and take the Cowboys here. This brings us to our second bet. You'll see a lot of the money is on Dallas. So take Dallas -5. Look, the Jags are on a little bit of a heater right now, but it's mostly been through the air. Well, what does Dallas do best? Kind of mostly through their pass rush is neutralize the air raid attack. They're only letting up like 190 yards through the air, maybe even less. Might even be closer to 150. They're allowing under 200 yards passing per game, which is I think third in the league right now. Like that's a good defense against the pass. So I think they're going to have to run the football, and I don't think they're going to be able to. So I'll take Dallas by like a touchdown.
Yeah, I like Dallas too. I was saying it before we started recording this. Since when have we seen the Jaguars go out and play great football 2 weeks in a row?
Doesn't happen much.
We'll see a nice little pop one week, and then the next week they kind of retreat back in to normal Jacksonville ways. And I don't think it's going to be enough to beat a Dallas team. This team is too well oiled. It's they are firing on all cylinders right now. So
I agree. All right, I'll take the Eagles at the Bears. Let's go with the Eagles in that one. I mean,
the Bears ain't winning that game.
It's the Bears. It's all nothing else to say. All right, Chiefs at the Texans. We're also going to take the Chiefs here. So this is one of my stay away games as well. Like big spreads, I usually stay away from.
Yeah.
-14. That's a lot of points.
That is crazy.
And part of me wants to bet the dog, right? +14 Houston. Yeah. I mean, come on. Like it's the NFL. They're professional athletes. They see a line like that. Like last week they were like 16 at Dallas. They should have won that game, right? They only lost by 4. So part of me wants to take the Texans, but I can't go to bed that night knowing I'm betting on the Texans. I can't do it.
That's tough.
I can't do it. So stay away game for me, but I will take the Chiefs to win.
I'll take Chiefs too, but way too many points. That's a college spread.
Yeah.
Leave that for college football.
Yeah. All right, Steelers at the Panthers. This is another one we're split on. You're going to go ahead and take the Steelers. I'll take the Panthers. I don't know who I'm getting at quarterback for the Steelers, and if it's not Kenny Pickett, I don't like our chances. And I think if you can get Carolina, I think right now, so on Fox Bet, it's -2, and we use Fox Bet for most of our lines, so we'll stick with that. Carolina -2. I think that's a good line.
Yeah.
Especially because you're covered by a field goal, so that works out. And I don't know what I'm getting with the Steelers. At least I know Sam Darnold is competent.
Yeah, and I don't like the Steelers secondary, but they usually find a way to hang around in these type of games.
That's true.
Maybe, we got Chris Boswell back. So,
do we?
He was activated last week.
Nice.
So, if we need a last-second field goal from 65 yards, we got that.
Good.
And,
I like that, yeah.
No, but for betting purposes, though, I do like Carolina -2.
Get decent value there, so.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, let's go with the Lions at the Jets. You like the Lions. I'll take the Jets here. I think at home, they're going to muddy this game up. They're going to run the football. It's probably not going to be great weather. Jared Goff outside in poor weather, I don't trust. And like I said, the Jets are going to muddy it up. They're probably going to cause a turnover. They're going to run the football. They're going to be brutal to play. They're physical. I don't feel great about it because the Lions at any moment could pop off for 40.
It's always a possibility.
Yeah, and so I'm guessing that's why you're taking the Lions.
Yeah, their big playability is kind of crazy. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of the top receivers.
He's been really, really good.
I haven't seen much better play from the receiver position than
he's been really good.
Yeah, he has been very impressive. And that whole team in general has just kind of impressed me a lot this season. We talked about it in the first segment. So yeah, I'll take Detroit.
Fair. Let's go Cardinals at the Broncos. I'll take the Broncos. I don't know why, really. I just think the Cardinals are that bad. Plus, the Broncos showed a little bit of fight towards the end there, and I don't know who's going to start. So Russ left with concussion-like symptoms, got his bell rung a little bit, and Brett Ripon, whatever, came in and actually delivered the ball pretty well. And it's weird. It seemed like they enjoyed playing for him a little bit more. I hate saying that. It seemed like there was some energy when he came in from the team. If he starts, I don't really care who starts really, but if he does, I think the energy about him at home, I don't know. I think they steal a game here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
feel
Russell's
good
voice
about
has
it.
just kind of gone stale in the locker room.
I think the
You know,
first
just a
day it
little
went
bit.
stale, man.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with the Patriots at the Raiders. We'll both take the Patriots. I don't really feel great about it. At this point, I'll take Belichick over Derek Carr.
Yes.
I'm not sure I trust Derek Carr, and I like him, and I like Derek Carr, but I don't trust about 98% of the league against Belichick. So
No.
it's nothing
That's
against him. It's the reality of it. And Mac Jones has been playing really well recently.
He's been doing enough.
He's been doing enough. The running game's starting to get better. So he's been good the past couple weeks in Arizona, and then on Monday. So I'll take the Patriots. Like I said, don't feel great about it, but whatever.
Yep.
Bengals at the Bucks. We're both going to take the Bengals. The Bucks can't score, and that Bengals defense is underrated. The Bucks aren't going to score many points.
And that running game in Cincinnati is just carrying them. Yeah.
Titans at the Chargers. We're both going to take the Chargers here. A more talented football team. I would say a more well-rounded football team. They don't run the football as much as I would prefer, but Tennessee can't throw it. And at this point in the league, 2022 NFL football,
You have to.
you have to throw. You have to throw. And so I'll take Justin Herbert, and at home too.
Oh yeah.
Our Giants at Commanders. This is a coin flip game, but I think the Commanders have more talent, point blank. So I'll go with the Commanders, and they're at home.
do.
And they're at home.
Yeah, they 100% have more talent, and especially on the defensive side of the football.
Right. Better receivers. Yeah, I think a better defense, especially in the front seven.
Yes.
And right now, I like Taylor Heineke better than Daniel Jones.
I think so too. Daniel Jones has been super inconsistent.
Next 5 years, who would you rather have, Heineke or Daniel Jones?
Heineke.
I think so too.
I
Monday
think
Night
he's a
Football.
gamer.
Monday Night Football. Wait, have I been forgetting bets? No, okay. Oh, yeah. All right, awesome. I almost forgot that one. Commanders -4.5. The Giants aren't a good football team. And the Commanders being at home, love that. Love that.
Yeah, that's going to be big for them.
Love that. And I think they're coming off a bye, too, which is even better. All right, let's go with the Rams at the Packers. We're both taking, the Packers?
Yeah, I mean, the Rams
They're
are
at
that
home.
bad.
Well, they're at home, and I do think it's cool. We'll talk about this here in a little bit, and it's actually going to be kind of like a perfect segue. I don't mind Baker with the Rams, but let's not act like they didn't suck all night until the last drive. The last two drives, other than that, they were awful to watch.
Yeah, they weren't great.
Could not get anything going. 2 drives, made a little bit of magic. Okay, that was not the normal all night.
No.
Not at all. Like, I don't think that's a good offense. I know people are like, oh, I don't know, Baker, they could work. No.
Yeah, he showed
on
the flashes at
road.
the end of the game, but I mean, if you check the stats and you were watching the game for any bit more than just that final drive, you would have seen that Baker's completion percentage was like barely 50% for a while.
It wasn't good. Yeah, it wasn't
good. Their offense was anemic. They finally got a little bit of momentum at the end, and the Raiders let them back in that game. The Raiders had a bunch of key first downs that they couldn't pick up.
Right.
That's why that happened.
So we'll take the Packers at home, and also the under on 39.5 prime time unders. I'm not getting fooled by another prime time under here. So
You're not taking the over again?
no, especially not with these offenses. So we'll go prime time under with the Rams at the Packers. It's 39.5 right now on Fox Bets. We'll roll with that.
All right, well, so what was that list of bets?
Yeah, we'll run back through that again. So we got Miami plus 7.5 against the Bills. We got the Cowboys going to Jacksonville -5. The Panthers at home -2 over the Steelers. The Commanders at home -4 over the Giants. And then finally under 39.5 in the Rams at Packers.
Good.
So, like I said, talking about the Rams and Packers, Baker will be getting the start under center at Lambeau.
That has it was just bad written all over it. I don't think that's going to be the most suitable environment for a Baker Mayfield in LA.
Right. So Baker and the Rams go to Lambeau, prime time Monday Night Football standalone game, which is weird they didn't flex it out, but I guess probably because they're both not very good, so it should still be like a competitive game.
Yeah.
I don't like Baker on the road at Green Bay prime time in the cold. So I've said before, and I've tried to be relatively fair with Baker. I mean, I don't like him. I don't think he's very good.
Yeah.
I don't think he's super likable, easy to root for at all. But I have been fair. Like whenever I saw that ball at the 2-yard line and I saw the Raiders grittying a punt, like I actually rooted for Baker for a hot second. I was like, come on, it would be cool for him to drive down
Yes.
and win the game. I think it'd be cool. So I'm fair when it comes to Baker. Still don't like him. And going into this game, I got to be realistic about it. I don't think on the road against a defense who, yes, they've been underwhelming, but that's a talented defense, right? They have a pass rush. They do have Jair Alexander on the back end. And on the flip side, they're going to get a running game. So instead of 11 possessions, you're going to get like 8 because the game's going to get shortened. They're going to run the football with A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. Aaron's going to hold possession for a little while. So they're only going to get, the game's going to shrink a little bit. You're going to get about 8 possessions in prime time. And Baker's game has never been efficiency. It's never been, hey, here's 8 minutes, 8 drives. Go score on 5 of them. That's just not Baker's efficiency. Here's 12. Can you get a couple quick scores because he has a decent arm? Yeah, that's 100% Baker. It's not an efficiency game for him, though. And I worry when you don't have a deep threat, right? Van Jefferson is fine, evidently, occasionally he can stretch the field. Did a little bit on that last drive. Right? He was throwing a Ben Skoranek down the field. That's not something that's sustainable. That's not a sustainable recipe. And here's Baker's stats on the road in his career. This is exactly the stat line I expect from him, and I don't think it's going to be good enough. 86 pass rating. He's going to average like a little under 200 yards. He'll have 56 touchdowns, 34 picks in 34 games on the road in his career. So, I mean, that's compared to at home, 43 touchdowns, 28 interceptions with 86 pass rating, slightly more yards. So, it's all about the same for Baker. But my point is that's not enough. He's just super, super average. And that was the problem with Cleveland. When you have that good of a roster, you can't just be average. It's not good enough to just be average. And it's not going to be good enough to go on the road in Lambeau against Aaron Rodgers and just be super average. Like, here's going to be a classic Baker Mayfield game. Ready? Let's just sketch it out. We used to do this a lot, especially with like young quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He's going to have 180 yards, 1 TD, 1 pick. He's going to complete 61% of his throws. He'll have a pass rating of 80.
This is very middle of the road.
Give me a super middle of the road game. Honestly, nowadays that's below average. 80 used to be like a relatively average pass rating.
Yeah, now it's
90.
We're
looking at about 90.
Yeah.
Right now we're looking at about 90. So that's a below average game from a quarterback, and that's exactly what Baker's going to be, and that's exactly what he's always been. And like I said, I am fair when it comes to Baker when he does something well. Right, beats the Steelers in the playoffs. I did say, good game. He also got that game almost handed to him.
Yeah, he did.
Let's be real. But I was also fair with him at the end in Cleveland. That was a toxic situation for both of them. Did he partially cause some of that? Yeah, absolutely. But was the organization toxic towards him as well? Absolutely. Right? You go get Deshaun, you guarantee him money while Baker's still in the room, and then they waited to like trade him / release him for like an uncomfortable amount of time.
They were like, you're going to be a backup probably.
Right, it was like an uncomfortable amount of time where they didn't trade him and they didn't know what was going to happen. Was he going to be a backup? But they already picked up his option, so it was $17 million, and nobody really wanted to pay his salary. So then it was weird, right? And I defended him. I'm like, trade him, like let him go somewhere, let him play. And I said there is some sort of market for him. He's not bad. He's not terrible. He's relatively young.
I think we compared him to like a Teddy Bridgewater, like a bridge quarterback that you pick up for a couple of years.
Yeah,
like maybe like what Los Angeles probably intends to use him for. I don't think they want to use him going forward after this season.
No.
I mean, you have a Matt Stafford, and if anything else, if Matt Stafford's going to retire soon, he's going to be on his way out. It's a loaded quarterback draft. So the Rams have a lot to look forward to. I don't think Baker's going to be like fitting in that plan anywhere.
So let's do a little exercise here. Let's go roughly what is perceived this season as the 10 worst quarterbacks. So let's start with whoever's starting for the Jets, whether it's Mike White or Zach Wilson. Who would you rather for the next 5 years?
Okay.
Baker or Zach Wilson / Mike White?
I would take Baker.
You would take Baker?
I would take Baker over Mike White. I think Mike White's very good in spurts. I think he's more sporadic. I haven't seen like enough with him.
I will lean Mike White just because I think the upside is potentially greater, and we haven't seen enough yet.
Mine's just basically purely I haven't seen enough.
That's fair. What about Russell Wilson or Baker Mayfield?
For the
contract included.
For the next 5
years.
Contract included.
Because that's the problem with Russ. I'm still going to give the benefit of the doubt to Russ that he can turn it around, and I would assume they get a new coach. I will go Russ barely.
take Russ. The contract thing is just really holding me up. But if I'm judging based purely off of talent and who I think is better, I'm going to go with Russ.
What about Kenny Pickett?
Kenny Pickett.
I'd go Kenny Pickett.
I think Kenny Pickett has a way higher ceiling.
Okay. Ryan Tannehill or Baker Mayfield?
Tannehill.
I think Tannehill.
Tannehill's
I think
way
he can
more
make
experience. He's made a playoff run.
I think he can make more plays with his legs too.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a wide receiver at Texas A&M. What
good.
about Matt Ryan or Baker Mayfield in Indianapolis?
Oh God,
I'd go Baker.
I'd go Baker
I'd go
because
Baker.
because of Matt's age.
Yeah, I'd go Baker. Davis Mills or Kyle Allen, whoever's starting in Houston.
Honestly, Davis Mills hasn't played bad. I think if you put him in a,
he got benched though recently. Kyle Allen's been the last 2 games.
I mean,
You're right. He was one of the better rookie quarterbacks last year. And he
don't-
wasn't awful.
I think
I'm
if you
taking
put him in
Baker,
a better system.
I'm taking Baker though.
Okay.
It's in Houston. Though.
For what we've seen, I'll take Baker, but I'm just saying he has the potential to have a good upside.
Daniel Jones or Baker Mayfield.
Daniel Jones.
Really?
Daniel Jones. I think
Really?
he has a higher upside than Baker.
I would take Baker. I think.
You
I
would?
I think Daniel Jones is awful. I don't think he's good at all. He's completed like
He's less
58%
noisy.
of his throws.
He's less noisy. And
That's fair.
Baker completed 50-some% of his throws for the entire game in Los Angeles
That's fair.
against the Raiders.
Okay. What about Taylor Heineke?
Heineke's a gamer, man.
I would take Taylor Heineke as well.
Heineke can win games.
Let's see a couple more here. I don't think Geno is what it was considered one of the worst, but it's also Geno's in one of those weird in betweens where like, is he good or was it a
wasn't-
fluke?
yeah, but, like-
right. So Geno or Baker?
Geno.
I would take Geno as well.
Geno.
I've seen a higher upside already with Geno in one season than I have with Baker.
If you would have put this season's Geno Smith on the Cleveland Browns 2 years ago, I think that would have been crazy.
So I released this as part of the newsletter, but Baker Mayfield or Matt Stafford? Contract included. They owe Matt Stafford $20 million next year, but then it goes up to 50 or 49.5, 50.5, 50.5.
That's insane, and that's what they're going to be stuck between. This is like, I don't know. What do you do?
I would go Stafford still.
You would keep Stafford.
Yeah, I'd give him another chance.
How old is he?
30-something. It's something to think about.
It's
Something to chew
It's
on.
something to chew on. I was
Yeah,
going to say
absolutely.
that. Yeah, I mean,
I'd still go Stafford, I think.
I could see the argument for Stafford. The only thing that would make me draw back is the age. I don't know.
That's fair. And the injuries recently. Jared Goff or Baker Mayfield?
Jared Goff.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Jared
close.
Goff. Jared Goff's been to a Super Bowl,
Absolutely.
and I think
He's
has
playing
the
really
ability.
well this year.
Yeah, and he has the ability to lead a team to another Super Bowl. I don't think this
100%.
year, but
22 touchdowns, I think 7 picks this year. I agree.
super efficient.
No,
No,
well, I was
you're
going to
right.
ask who they have in Carolina. How about whoever's starting in Atlanta? So like Desmond Ridder or Marcus Mariota. I'll take Baker. Well,
I'll
see,
take Baker. I'm not taking Baker
interested
over.
to see Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, I can't. I haven't seen enough to say anything on Desmond Ritter,
How
but I
about
would say
Marcus
over
Mariota?
Marcus Mariota, I would take
I think so, too.
Baker.
Jameis Winston.
Jameis. I think Jameis is good. I think Jameis and Baker are almost on the same level.
I think so too. What about Andy Dalton? You think it's crazy? It's not. I don't think that's a crazy question though.
Andy Dalton.
Yeah. No, he's older, so it's the next 5 years. That's probably the only reason I would lean Baker. But he's been playing better over the last season.
See,
Andy Dalton has played better.
I thought you just set that up just so you could take the Red Rocket.
No. I really wish I could. I do like the Red Rocket. I don't know. That was just a fun little exercise. I don't know. Just kind of seeing where Baker lies. But my point is, I like.
He's kind of somewhere in that middle.
I really like the Packers going in here, and I think they're going to be able to get pressure. And we all know that if you get pressure on Baker, that's a tough day. And on the road, the home team generally gets a lot of pressure. So I'll go with the Packers. I don't think it's super close. I don't love Baker this week, and I don't love him going forward. But like I said, I'm fair. He had a nice week last week.
Hats off to him.
Tip off the hat to him. But yeah, it's. I don't think going forward Baker is going to do anything special.
No, I don't think he's the answer. But guys, that is all we have for the show today. Make sure you go and sign up for the newsletter. The first one came out this week. What was it? Yesterday on Wednesday it came out.
Yep.
So make sure you're going and subscribing to see all of those. Are going to come out every single week. You can go to theissuesports.com and find the newsletter sign up right there. Just type your email in and click sign up. Super easy. And then you can find all of our social media, all of our different links in the description wherever you're watching or listening. Guys, we really appreciate it. And that was The Issue.